This is some day. Dear friends, fellow Americans, I'm so honored to be here to welcome you all to the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. We have all been witness to a very grueling year and a half for the President-elect. We have been witness to a barrage of propaganda that left us all breathless with anticipation, not knowing if God could reverse all the negative lies against Mr. Trump, whose only desire was to make America great again. He certainly didn't need this job. And yes, God answered all our prayers. Because here it is. We will be part of history. All of us. And President Lincoln, who sits here with us, I'm sure is smiling, knowing America will be saved by an honest and good man who will work for all the people, no matter their creed or color. So, my friends, let us rejoice in knowing that from this time on, we will see a renewed America. The spirit of America is perhaps best captured by one of our country's most beloved patriotic songs, written over a century ago.
Բարի երեկո սիրելի հարնագիցներ, ինչպես ամեն շաբաթ երեկո կմիանանք ուղի եթերով, ես ուզեցի այսօրվա հայդակիրը սկսվի հետաքրքիր հայտարարությունով, ինչպես որ բոլորս տեսանք, Դոնալդ Թրամփի վերաբերյալ, ինչպես որ լսեցինք վերջերս շատերս Հոլիվուդի ակտորներու հայտարարությունները, ինչպես վատ ծևով կմոտենային Դոնալդ Թրամփի ընտրության, հավասի կտեսնանք ոչ բոլոր ակտորները Հոլիվուդի այդ նպատակին էին, այլ բավականին խելացի անձնավորություններ, որոնք իրեն կողմեն էին և ճշմարտության կողմեն էին, ինչպես որ լսեցիք այսօրվա հայտարարությունը, երեկվա ինագուրեյշնի հայտարարությունը։ Նախ բոլորիդ կուզեմ շնորհավորել այս ընտրաբայքարի հաղթանակը, որ դարավ Դոնալդ Թրամփը, և գիտեմ, որ շատերը պիտի լսեն շատ դարբեր հայտարարություններ TV-ով, CNN-ով, անիմաստ հայտարարություններ, որ այդ պիտի մարդոց վախցնելու համար, վախի մեջ բայելու համար։ Մի հավատակ այդ խոսքերուն, որովհետև իսկապես երկիրը պիտի երթա լավին, որով իսկապես անձնավորություն մնստեցավ, որ իր երկրին հոգ կուզե դանել, ինչպես որ քիչ վերջը պիտի լսենք իր խոսածը և իր հայտարարածը։ Մի քանի րոպեներ հետո մեր հյուրի հետ անգլերեն պիտի խոսենք, բայց ես կուզեմ ևս հայտարարել, բոլորիդ կշնորհավորեմ և ահավասիկ հայկական լուրերեն կուզեմ տալ, որ շատ մ լուրեր կդարածի, որ այսպես ըսած ցեղասպանությունը պիտի չընդունվի կամ պիտի ընդունվի։ Սիրելիներ, խնդիրը այդ չէ, որովհետև մինչև այսօր թեր չէ եղած նախագահը Միացյալ Նահանգներու մեջ 1951-ին վերջ կամ Ռեյգանին վերջ ավելի ճիշտը, որ խոստացած է և ընդունած է, ինչպես Օբաման սենատոր էր, ելավ հայտարարեց, բայց խաբեց հայ ժողովրդին։ Ուրեմն հոն չէ խնդիրը, և մի խաբնվիկ այդ զգացումներով։ Հավասիկ այս անձնավորությունը չէ եկած դիպորտնելու բոլոր իլիգալներուն, ինչպես որ հայտարարվեցավ, այդ սուտ էր։ Այդ դեմոկրատներուն սուտախոսություններ, որ 4 տարի ևս առնեն աթորը և լրիվ կանթեն այս երկիրը, ինչպես որ արդեն կտեսնանք, այս երկիրը կանթման եզրին կանգնած է։ Ադորամար մի վախնակ, ճշմարտությունը մեզ հետ է։ Եվ քիչ մի վերջի պիտի լսենք հայտարարությունը Դոնալդ Թրամփի իր inauguration-ի, որ երբևիցե այդպիսի inauguration-ի speech ես անգամ չէի լսած, պիտի լսենք քիչ մի վերջը մի քանի րոպեներ վերջ այդ հայտարարությունը։ Բայց այսօր որովհետև մենք ունենք հյուր մեր մեջ եւ գուզեմ այդ հյուրի հետ կիսվել այս անցու հարցերը անգլերեն լեզվով, պիտի խոսենք իրեն հետ։ Իր անունն է Matthew Giaba. Thank you for coming, Matthew.
Thank you
and
for having me.
as I started the program with the inauguration speech of the actor John, and yet we see another individual that spoke the truth for the truth. And what did he say in his speech was, we have prayed for so long to see a change.
Correct.
And it is very important to understand this revolution is against the establishment, against Republican, Democrat, whoever belongs in that establishment that has destroyed this country.
Specifically against
Right.
establishment. Correct.
Against establishment. And then we see the forces of establishment, they're propagating false messages, especially through Democrats, that illiterate organization to start chaos in this country. I want to elaborate on that, and then I want to elaborate on that because we have local elections too coming up.
We do.
And we have, unfortunately, individuals that believe in the same unethical methods of taking the seats. One of them happens to be the mayor, even if we Armenians are supposed to support it. We are going to talk about it specifically. I will give you the floor to talk about this inauguration. Let's start from the inauguration.
Well, first, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. You know, Donald Trump, it's not about Democrats or Republicans anymore. It's not about that. He came up, he beat 17 other candidates on the Republican side. He wiped out the Democratic Party. And the people really spoke. The people really woke up because he spoke what they're feeling. He spoke what they really were thinking, and he's the only one that had the guts to speak about it. The issue becomes at this point is that Donald Trump woke the people up. And I believe in telling the truth to the American people and the people because the Democratic Party has been lying to the people, the establishment in general, with the Republicans as well. They're just as guilty. They get up, they lie to you, they get your votes, and then they disappear. 4 years go by, nothing's happening. And the same thing happened to the mayor of Los Angeles. Mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, does the same typical establishment puppet. And that is why we need to continue to do what we need to do as people for the rights of the people. We need to continue to do that and just wake up. Just wake up and have a place that we can understand that we are human beings. We are being misguided by the establishment for their own propaganda. Pay for play is real, folks. It is really real. And unfortunately, we're too stuck on CNN and Fox News and all these paid news medias to give us false, fake news and propaganda. We need to look at the individual candidate and we need to continue with it. And this is why I'm saying Donald Trump's inauguration speech was the best speech I have seen and heard in a very long time from a presidential president. He spoke about taking people off of welfare and putting them back to work. It's not that he doesn't want people on welfare. We have to start empowering people, because once you earn your own money, once you feel good about yourself and have a hope, you will do better in life. You will feel optimistic again. But once you're dependent on the system, on the so-called the establishment system that they're going to pay you to sit home and get government assistance, nothing is free. I learned it a long time ago. Nothing in America is free. When it's something for free, there's always a consequence to it. He also said that he wants to make education better. He wants our neighborhoods to be safer. He wants to fix the inner cities and get it back to a better infrastructure and cleaner and safer. What is wrong with that? There is absolutely nothing wrong with a president who has a vision and hope, real change for American citizens. But yet we see all these marches and all these protests. And I believe, Bedros, I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in the freedom of speech. But when you start causing damage to properties and people, that becomes an act of terrorism and does not fall under the freedom of speech.
Well, I wanted you to explain your view on that, which is very important. We are going to talk about the change that he talked about, and it's much needed change that he really mentioned. First of all, I would like to start with the demographics and the inner city problems that exist, and we are going to go back to the inauguration speech, which is very important.
It is
because he really talked the truth, and there was no racism in it, as people assume it was racism. I don't know what was racism. You know, before we go there, I want to announce. I want to speak a couple of words. They organized a marching everywhere in the city, every city today.
Correct.
Washington, D.C. happens to be one, which was organized. Well, here's the thing. Washington, D.C. March was organized by a Muslim.
Okay.
Muslim American that has been fighting for Muslim holidays in the schools of United States. Isn't that interesting? I mean, how illiterate we can get more. You know, Muslim holidays in American schools, she's been fighting. That's one of the main organizers that organized this march in Washington, D.C. And they called Donald Trump and those that voted for Donald Trump racists, homophobics, anti-Semites, and etc. Deportable. They've been calling all names, and they talked about tolerance, but they haven't shown tolerance themselves. So basically, they've been attacking those that want to think differently. And here's the thing. Those people that have their heads covered come up in this country, they want to teach us about freedom when they don't know anything about the freedom. Can they go to Saudi Arabia, their head uncovered? I don't believe so.
Absolutely not.
So why would they come up? You see, there is basically a dark force that is trying to destroy our inner cities, our inner minds, our inner souls, and Donald Trump was thrown in the den of lions and he won. Absolutely. Because the establishment was basically against it. And even in Armenian television, even in Armenian so-called intellectuals, I heard some of them call him a racist. First of all, define the word racist before you call somebody racist, because you have no clue what's a racist. You haven't even defined the Armenian history to call somebody a racist. You fabricated the Armenian history. You lied to the Armenian people as to who organized the Armenian genocide. Now you have the guts to call somebody a racist when you have no clue what's the race, what the meaning of racism is. No, he's not racist. There was no attack on anyone except the establishment that has lied to the people, especially Democrats specifically, because they've lied to the people. They said to the people, we will help you, but in return they put them on welfare. They've enslaved the society more, and that's what Mayor Garcetti wants to continue, by enslaving them, by talking Latin, but then he cares less about the Latin people and all that. So we're going to go there. I want to give you a couple of minutes to talk about it.
We cannot afford 5.5 more years of Eric Garcetti or anybody else in office as part of the establishment. There are several candidates on the ballot. There are several candidates that are in the pockets of the establishment, and we will name them later on. But when you have a mayor who pretends to be for the people, the first 4 years of office he's been elected since 2013, the first 4 years, all Eric Garcetti's been worried about is campaigning and collecting donations and bribes for 4 years to secure 5.5 more seats. 5.5 more years in the office in 2017. So what has he done for the city in 4 years? Absolutely nothing, except build high rises, expensive buildings, expensive shopping centers, and giving special treatment to big developers that he has pocketed donations for his campaign. And that has been proven. That has been investigated by the LA Times. And the unfortunate part is the district attorney, Jackie Lacey, has the file in her desk. The Ethics Commission for Los Angeles City has the file on their desk, and nothing is being done. Gee, I wonder why that is at this point. So here's what becomes to be the main issue, Bedros, is this is the system of broken promises. This is a repeated history over and
Broken promises.
over by Democrats. And the reason why I say Democrats...
And equally Republicans.
No.
Okay.
Equally Republicans. I'm not saying, but Los Angeles City hasn't had a Republican mayor since 2001.
Right.
So I can't blame Republicans for messing up Los Angeles City because it's always been Democrats. We had a guy who was caught in a big scandal. He got kicked out. All these communities, Armenians, Latinos, African Americans, Arabs, as soon as one politician gets up and says one soft thing about them, they all fall in love and they all vote for that person. Realistically, look deep down inside and see what that person is really about. What has he really done for those communities? Just because I speak Spanish doesn't mean I care about the Latino community. Just because I grew up in poverty doesn't mean I understand about the communities. Just because I'm Armenian doesn't mean I understand about that. So this is the problem.
Now we have to analyze very specifically without going any further.
Sure.
Now, it's not about Garcetti, it's not about any other candidate. It's specifically about the city in poverty. There are lots of parts in the city in poverty, which Donald Trump yesterday he spoke about.
He did.
The broken cities. He said, we will take people of welfare and give them work.
Correct.
Which Democrats, specifically Democrats, I'm sorry to say that, it's not about only one mayor, it's about the whole system of Democrats, DNC. They promised people to help through welfare, through food stamps, and they enslave people into slavery. That's what it is. That's what they promised you. While they got richer and they got bigger banks, they've given you a couple of cents in order to shut our mouths.
Correct.
And it is time, because it is our ethical right, it is our ethical duty to work and earn as much as they can and not to shut our mouth with few dollars here and there. Look what they've done in the inner city of South Central Los Angeles, Boyle Heights, and this problem has started way before current mayor.
Of course.
It's about the Democrats, the way they conduct business. They lie to people. And I'm amazed still, how can us, that we come from a genocidal past, how can we believe in a system that keeps lying to us? That's what it is. How can we believe in specific Democrats? They've been lying to us all this time. How can we have a trust in them? We can't. They publicly, over and over, announce they are going to presidential level, of course, not mayor level. Mayor recognizes or not, it doesn't matter. You know. We're talking about presidential level. They always played with emotions, but then when they received their seat, they forgot about it. Now, here's the thing. What are your plans for Los Angeles City? Or let's not talk about Los Angeles City. Let's talk about the problems that exist. You know,
which we have a lot of problems in Los
right.
Angeles City right now that we're facing.
We're talking about Los Angeles. But you know, overall, we have a problem everywhere. You know, and I would like one more time to specifically emphasize the problem that these people are creating with lies, and many people who are hopeless, they're believing in them and getting up and marching. It's, you know, they're labeling them as racist and et cetera, you know. This is lies, people. It's big lies. They translate, especially CNN. Don't believe in CNN. CNN is the media center for the global elite to destroy inner city, to destroy your families, to keep you in darkness. That's what CNN is specifically. All news medias, mainstreams are like that. But they are lying to you. That's what it is. Let's talk about the city itself.
the city of Los Angeles has been sort of going downhill spiraling, and the number one thing that we always see is the increase in crime. The increase in crime is getting out of hand in Los Angeles City. We have the increase of homelessness. I mean, this is America. Los Angeles is a very, believe it or not, rich city. It's the second largest city in the United States. We should not be having 38,000 people, men, women, children, sleeping in tents outside in the cold and the rain. Then we go into jobs. Jobs have been deteriorating. Jobs are going away. Small businesses have been closing. And that's just many of the few. But to touch base on one topic that I really, really feel bad for is the increase in rent. It is so unaffordable to live in the city of Los Angeles or any within the 15 districts. It is unbearable. Where are my neighbors going to go? Where am I going to go? Where are you going to go? If you can't afford to live there, you have to pack up and move. What's that going to do to your children, to their education, to your long life history in Los Angeles? So if you want to touch base topics on each of these topics, Bedros, I'd be more than happy to.
We will go over it, but before we go over it, I want everybody to listen to the speech of inauguration speech of Donald Trump. Okay. And I want everybody to understand there is no such a thing racism in that speech. He didn't say anything racist. People are in darkness when they're saying he's a racist person. The only person that would say he's a racist cannot think beyond imagination. Can we go to the inauguration speech, please? It's about 15 minutes. Let's all listen to it. Let's all understand what our president really talked about. He really talked about helping people. Let's go.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Did I get that one right?
Chief Justice Roberts, President Carter, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, fellow Americans, and people of the world, thank you. We, the citizens of America, are now joined in a great national effort to rebuild our country and restore its promise for all of our people. Together, we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. We will face challenges. We will confront hardships, but we will get the job done. Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. And we are grateful to President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama for their gracious aid throughout this transition. They have been magnificent. Thank you. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. And while they celebrated in our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families all across our land. That all changes starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you. It belongs to everyone gathered here today and everyone watching all across America. This is your day. This is your celebration. And this, the United States of America, is your country. What truly matters is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people. January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. Everyone is listening to you now. You came by the tens of millions to become part of a historic movement, the likes of which the world has never seen before. At the center of this movement is a crucial conviction that a nation exists to serve its citizens. Americans want great schools for their children, safe neighborhoods for their families, and good jobs for themselves. These are just and reasonable demands of righteous people and a righteous public. But for too many of our citizens, a different reality exists. Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities, rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation, an education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge, and the crime and the gangs and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. We are one nation, and their pain is our pain. Their dreams are our dreams, and their success will be our success. We share one heart, one home, and one glorious destiny. The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans. For many decades, we've enriched foreign industry at the expense of American industry, subsidized the armies of other countries while allowing for the very sad depletion of our military. We've defended other nations' borders while refusing to defend our own. And spent trillions and trillions of dollars overseas while America's infrastructure has fallen into disrepair and decay. We've made other countries rich while the wealth, strength, and confidence of our country has dissipated over the horizon. One by one, the factories shuttered and left our shores, with not even a thought about the millions and millions of American workers that were left behind. The wealth of our middle class has been ripped from their homes and then redistributed all across the world. But that is the past, and now we are looking only to the future. We assembled here today are issuing a new decree to be heard in every city, in every foreign capital, and in every hall of power. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first. Every decision on trade, on taxes, on immigration, on foreign affairs will be made to benefit American workers and American families. We must protect our borders from the ravages of other countries making our products, stealing our companies, and destroying our jobs. Protection will lead to great prosperity and strength. I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down. America will start winning again, winning like never before. We will bring back our jobs. We will bring back our borders. We will bring back our wealth. And we will bring back our dreams. We will build new roads and highways and bridges and airports and tunnels and railways all across our wonderful nation. We will get our people off of welfare and back to work, rebuilding our country with American hands and American labor. We will follow two simple rules: buy American and hire American. We will seek friendship and goodwill with the nations of the world, but we do so with the understanding that it is the right of all nations to put their own interests first. We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone, but rather to let it shine as an example. We will shine for everyone to follow. We will reinforce old alliances and form new ones and unite the civilized world against radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely from the face of the earth. At the bedrock of our politics will be a total allegiance to the United States of America. And through our loyalty to our country, we will rediscover our loyalty to each other. When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. The Bible tells us how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. We must speak our minds openly, debate our disagreements honestly, but always pursue solidarity. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable. There should be no fear. We are protected, and we will always be protected. We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. And most importantly, we will be protected by God. Finally, we must think big and dream even bigger. In America, we understand that a nation is only living as long as it is striving. We will no longer accept politicians who are all talk and no action, constantly complaining but never doing anything about it. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. Do not allow anyone to tell you that it cannot be done. No challenge can match the heart and fight and spirit of America. We will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. We stand at the birth of a new millennium, ready to unlock the mysteries of space, to free the earth from the miseries of disease, and to harness the energies, industries, and technologies of tomorrow. A new national pride will stir our souls, lift our sights, and heal our divisions. It's time to remember that old wisdom our soldiers will never forget, that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. We all enjoy the same glorious freedoms, and we all salute the same great American flag. And whether a child is born in the urban sprawl of Detroit or the windswept plains of Nebraska, they look up at the same night sky, they fill their heart with the same dreams, and they are infused with the breath of life by the same Almighty Creator. So to all Americans in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words: you will never be ignored again. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. And your courage and goodness and love will forever guide us along the way. Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Ահավասիկ վերադարձանք սիրելիներ, լսեցիք President Donald Trump-ի սպիչը, իր inauguration-ի սպիչը, որ միջև այսօր վերջի 25-30 տարիները ովևէ մեկ նախագահ այսպես չէ խոսած, Բուշենը սկսած, ավելի ճիշտը Քարթերը սկսած, այսպիսի խոսակցությունը չէ, այսպիսի համարձակ սպիչը չէ դված, բոլորը եղած են գլոբալիստներու ծառաները, բավասի կտեսնանք բادرազմը, բայկարը գլոբալիզմի, New World Order-ի եւ անձնավորություններ, որոնք ուզեն դուրս գալ այդ կից եւ իրենց երկիրը ծաղկեցնեն, ասոր մեջ ռեյսիզմը ուր էր արդյոք, որուն խոս զարգավ, որուն հարվածեց, ովևէ մեկին։ Դեսեք ադոր համար չի հավատակ այդ լուրերուն, չի հավատակ այդ ծայրահեղական, դեմոկրատական, դեմոկրատ լուրերուն, որոնք կգոչեն այս անձնավորության ռեյսիստ, սուդախոսներ են։ Ցերականջներով լսեցիք, վախնալու հարց չի գա, որովհետև դեմոկրատները գուզեն վախցնել ժողովրդին թեր։ Վախնալու հարց չի գա, այլ ընդհակառակը աշխատելու, միապանվելու եւ բայկարելու ժամանակ եկավ, որ այս երկրի մեջ ապրողները ծաղկեցնեն այս երկիրը, welfare-ն դուրս կան եւ աշխատանքի մեջ մտնան եւ նորմալ society մեջ ծառայեն եւ այս երկրի infrastructure-ը շինվի։ Ահավասիկ կտեսնակ այս անձնավորությունը այս խոստումները տվավ նախագահը ոչ թե ընդրվել են առաջ, ընդրվել են վերջ inauguration-ի speech-ն էր, որովհետև ինքը բարձ օրենսավ շատ համարձակ օրենսավ առանց վախի։ Միջև այսօր կառավարությունը շահած է, ժամանակ եկավ կառավարությունը չէ որ բիճայի, ժողովուրդը բիճայի, ավասիկ ժողովրդական անձնավորությունը, որ դեմոկրատները, իսլամիկ թերորիստները թեմեն, չեն ուզեր տեսնալ, ժողովուրդը այստեղը դրագ են դուրս եկած, գենգեր են դուրս եկած, այս ինֆրաստրուկտուրները շինված, չեն ուզեր տեսնալ, որովհետև գուզեն ժողովրդին ստրուկության մեջ բահեն, այդ է իրականությունը սիրելիներ, իրականությունը այդ է, մենք ժամանակ եկավ, որ մենք հայեր միապանվենք այս միտքին, մեզ համար ալլավ է, և ոչ թե թուրս մնանք, ոչ թե մի քանի դքետ պատմապաններ, որ գելեն գուզեն խոսիլ և ասել այդ ռեյսիզմ է, ռեյսիզմը իրենք են, որ պերեր են մեզ այս երկրի միջև և գուզեն ասիմիլիետնենք լիբերալիզմի մեջ, արտնցեք սիրելի ժողովուրդ, արտնցեք ծեր միտքերը պացեք, և այդ ասելով հիմա պիտի անցնիմ անգլերենով. All right, Matthew, so we heard the speech of the president.
Yes.
One of the most powerful speeches I've heard in history of course, before I was born, I don't know. It's just like Lincoln, Kennedy, the speech of powerful patriotism, and not racism, but patriotism.
Very
Right.
uplifting. Very uplifting.
He made a few points, very important points, where he said, we will fix the infrastructure of these cities, our countries.
Correct.
The man cares for his country. And you know, we have to also realize specifically, he was attacked by those elitists, by the establishment, especially by Democrats, and mostly some Republican traitors, you know, basically. He was attacked by them, but mostly by Democrats that have destroyed this society, destroyed the United States educational system, destroyed everything that exists in this world. I want to hear from you.
I actually have the transcript of the president's speech, and I downloaded it just because it was so uplifting, and I've never heard of it before.
Right.
Did you notice that there was 45 times during his speech that he's used the word together?
Right. We. Together.
We, together.
He only referred 3 times I. Versus
Did you listen to
Obama's speech, he used 300 times I. What a selfish person.
That's narcissist.
Right. That's a narcissist. And your 8 years of president was narcissist. And he's the racist, not Trump. He was the most racist president on planet Earth, and we're not waking up.
Well, he deported more people too, but anyway,
Right.
with that subject. But here's a few points that President Trump said, and it basically says, for far too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. That's very true. Poverty has been increasing so much while these elite politicians, bribes, special interest groups, lobbyists, have been paying them while they get wealthy. My family and yours are struggling to live in a poverty-stricken cities.
And what do they promise? They promise, oh, we will take care of the poverty by feeding them what? Welfare. Which basically deprives the mentality of individuals.
There are more people,
right,
more people on
right.
welfare since Obama's been in office because of Obamacare. Okay?
Right.
I promised myself I wouldn't get into topics of Obamacare, but it touches me very, very hard because I can't afford Obamacare. Me.
Right.
Your family can't afford Obamacare. My wife's cousins can't afford Obamacare because he works. Because he works, 2 years ago, his premiums was $450 for a family of 4.
Right.
They increased it to $3,000 per month for health care insurance. That's Obamacare for you? What are they doing, folks? It's very simple. They get you to increase, and then you can't afford it, so they put you on a government welfare system. Our welfare system is so overstretched. It is so stretched thin. Any doctor you speak to, Bedros, does not like Obamacare, and the care under Obamacare, it diminishes the care for the people. It's not top tier. So this man wants to give back to the people. He doesn't want politicians to take control of the people because, like our founding forefathers said, for the people, by the people. Now, I'm not sure if you have anything else, but I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, I want to before we go there, I want to talk about individual, because we're going to talk about the speech still, but I want to take a pause from the
inauguration speech.
We all heard what kind of a speech he gave, what kind of a promise he gave. Why don't we give him a chance? But you know what? In return, there is a person named Linda Sarsour, cockroach, you know. She basically organized in Washington, D.C., a march. 300,000 women went, women's march. Apparently they called him a sexist or whatever. But I wanna remind you of this individual, who she is. She has connection to Hamas, terrorist group. That's the headquarters is right now in Turkey. Türkiye'yi meçheyren's headquarters. Let's not forget that.
Nope.
Hamas. She is a pro-FSA, terroristneru gomen, voron kuzen Suriye'in terroristnerun, rebelnerun, FSA'in, ISIS'in aveli zenktan. She was in support of it, full documented, all the way back from 2011. She is one of the people that fought hard to put Muslim holidays in New York City. Now here is my question. If I want to put Christian holidays in a Muslim country such as Saudi Arabia, in their public schools, am I allowed to?
No.
What would they do to me?
Probably get beheaded or stoned.
Immediately.
Correct.
Do you see the fabrication and the lies they're doing? They're coming as victimized, but they're not. We're the victims. They're trying to take control of this country. And there is a lion whose name is Trump, who stood against everyone. He's the eagle that we're going to support. I will support, because he spoke against every unjust system that exists in this country, and we need to support him for that. Not only support him, we need to unite behind him, Armenians. Let's not fall for those games. I basically share the idea. The individual that spoke this speech, gave this promise during his inauguration, would never turn his back. He said, there will not be one day I will fail you. And this individual, Trump, who's a hero for me, this individual will not get paid. He's not doing it for money. He doesn't need this money. He doesn't need this position. Somebody he saw needed to return this country back to what forefathers funded for, and he's doing it. And obviously, all those speeches that Democrats stand up and scream, we're going to do for the people, they're all liars. They all gave empty promises, but they never executed their promises. You know those promises? They only gave grants to those that elected them, and those organizations that elected them. That's what they stand for. They don't stand for the people. And it's time to change that. It's time to stand for the people. It's time to change even Los Angeles City election system, because they are using our votes in order to get rich and richer. They're all corrupt thieves. That's who they are. I'm sorry about it, but we can continue with the Trump speech again.
That's okay. Thank you. You know, he even goes to the infrastructure, and he says that our infrastructure in our cities have been depleted,
Right.
have been in disbar. They're gone, which it is. Our infrastructure, drive on our roads, drive in the airports, go wherever. Our infrastructures have been depleting while other countries has been prospering. But then he goes, the wealth of our middle class has been ripped from their home and then redistributed across the entire world. Basically, what this man is saying, the middle class, you, the people at home, everything is taken away from you, and our politicians have been giving it away to third world countries, to countries outside of America. And that has to stop. But Bedros, what honestly got me really to kind of believe in Donald Trump even more is not the fact that you just said that he doesn't need to do this. I don't think people understand when they enter a race, when they enter, whether it's a city race, a governor race, an election, or president, your family did not sign up for this. It takes a toll on your family, your children. You're never home. You're miserable. You're just tired, fatigued. And you're not making money. You're not getting paid to go do a campaign. So this man got up, stopped all his businesses, gave it to his children because he didn't want to have anything to do with it, unlike the Clinton Foundation, which they continued after they were still presidents. And he wanted to change America. He wanted to make it better. He wants our country to be better again. He wants to give my kids a future, your kids a future. And we sit here and we call him racist. We call him fascist. He's not for equal women's rights. Let's not forget Halian Conway, the best campaign manager for President Trump, the only female who won a presidential election in the history.
And let's not forget, when there's a rumor right now going through Armenian news medias, I don't know which news medias, I ran into a few of them, that says he will basically attack the Armenian genocide, and they say he has businesses in Turkey. Let's not forget, his campaign strategist and the head of his campaign transition team is Armenian. His name is Ken Nahigian. That's his name. He is basically Armenian running his strategy, Armenian running his campaign, Armenian running his transition team, making decision who to put in and put out. Basically, it's the Armenian brain behind it again. But yet, Democrats, some Armenians are Democrats, want to attack even Armenians behind it. You see what I'm saying? That's very important.
It's very sad because let me tell you something. I've seen fake news, and I'm going to call it fake news because I've seen fake news.
MSNBC, racist news.
What they did was, you have the Armenian coming up saying he's pro-Turkey, he's going to attack Armenia, but yet again, you just heard that his top strategist is Armenian. Then we have, I read on the news the other day that Latinos are pissed off.
Right.
Because there's no Latino in the history of the presidency, but there's a Latino in his cabinet.
Right now.
Right now. As we speak, he picked him.
Right.
There's no women's rights. He's racist. He's racist against women. He treats them like dirt. But yet, his Secretary of Education is a female.
You know, we're going to take a phone call through my cell phone today because the phones are not working. I'm going to try my best to answer it. Yes, you're online.
I wanted to thank you for speaking the truth. It's nice to see the alternate media giving the truth to the American people. Bedros, you personally were the first to link ISIS with Turkey several months before even RT began to report it.
Right.
Bravo to you, Bedros. And also, it was an embarrassment to my wife and my daughter to watch the women screaming in opposition to Donald Trump today, and the signs held about him being with Putin. Russia has nuclear bombs. Do we want to be enemies with Russia, or do we want to be friends with a nuclear country? It's unbelievable. And it began in Chicago with the fake rioters that were actually hired by Clinton that were paid
Thank
your
you.
mayoral campaign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the call. I will emphasize again one more time. It's very important to understand today's march. The head of the march who organized it was a Muslim American. We're not against Muslims, but I want to put a quote that she put back in 2015 on her Twitter. Look how look how sadistic these people are. This is what she says. You know, when you're living under Sharia law, is suddenly all your loans, credit cards become interest free. Sounds nice, doesn't it? They want to put Sharia law in the United States, and they're basically promoting racism. They're saying it's racism. Women get up, and 300, 400,000 women, like blind, they get up under to protect this sadistic Satan. This is what we're doing, to basically infiltrate the inner core of United States and destroy it. But let's not forget, most of us came here because it's a free world, because it's a free country. We wanted freedom from that sadistic Muslim countries. Why don't we speak up, Armenians? Why do we believe in these Democrats and their lies? Somebody looks at them, feels like puking. That's how they are. Look at that idiot. His name is Michael Moore, whatever his name is. He hasn't taken proper shower for 50 years. He gets up and says, I'm a Muslim, we're all Muslims. Michael Moore, why don't you go to Saudi Arabia and hold a sign that says, I'm a Christian, and look what do they do to you, idiot. That's who you are. You're a moron, that's what you are. You're basically deprived. You're basically disgrace to the United States. You should be deported, and all those people should be deported because they're blind. They're blind leaders. That's what it is. You know, there is a war right now between globalists and somebody that wanted to save this country. That's the war we're fighting. And you're either side. Don't be fooled from that side, because those people have destroyed the United States education system. The United States is far less in the education when you go by the statistics. It's no more the top one. It's destroyed. Who did it? Democrats. Unfortunately, that's the truth. Democrats and establishment and some Republicans, they did this. This is not about Republican-Democrat fight. This is about fighting the establishment that has occupied the land. Like President Trump said, we will give this government back to the people, and that's what we want. That's what makes us free, not the one they're giving us, not the promise giving us of welfare, Obamacare, free food. You know what? Keep your food and keep your free welfare to yourself. We have 2 hands and 2 feet. We can fight and win. Yes, continue with the speech.
You know, I want to touch base on something you just mentioned, that this gentleman that called in earlier, thank you for that phone call. But here's what it is. We're not defending Donald Trump. Donald Trump can defend himself, and he proved himself, very much proved himself. What we are fighting for and what we are standing against is the propaganda of the global elites and the special interest groups and big developers who buy politicians and forget the poverty-stricken people. And if you don't think you're in poverty, you are. Because you work every day, you go to work every day, you have to struggle to make ends meet like I do, and to provide for your family. And if every day in your life goes by, you have to think about what bill you can afford to pay, you're in poverty, my friends. And that's what we're fighting for. When I see people marching today, I'm glad people exercise their freedom of speech, because this is what America's about. This is what our Constitution is about. And this is what I defended and what I almost died for this country, for your safety.
And you know, it's very important. The reason why we're speaking right now is, number one, to introduce what's really taking place. Number two, don't be feared, because all the media lies, especially CNN, MSNBC, they're lying to you people. Don't believe this man is not racist. This man is not going to come and take you out of your home and deport you. He never said anything about that. I'm going to say it in Armenian. Երբևից է չսավ, ես ցեզի դիպորտ պիտնեմ բոլորին։ Ոչ, criminalներուն պիտնեմ դիպորտը։ Սա Օբաման ագնե, Clinton նալրա, բոլորն արան։ You know, the same speech that he gave about immigration, 1992, Bill Clinton gave. But nobody protested.
Bill Clinton got a standing ovation.
Right, he got standing ovation. He said, "We will build walls. We will protect our borders." What's the difference between him and right now a man who wants to stand up and actually do what he promised? You know, I know it's going to be very hard. There are powers in this world that will fight this because they don't want to stop, just like they didn't stop in Syria, just like they didn't stop anywhere. And we don't, you know, if you're Armenian at least, because this is an Armenian channel, don't fall for this game. It's not true. I had few phone calls, especially saying, oh, Donald Trump is going to do that. Do you believe everything you hear on CNN, especially that white-haired old guy called Cooper, the liar? Let's be realistic. Let's go to the phone call. Ayo, Rametsek.
Hello, կարելի խոսել պարոն Պետրոս։
Ayo, խոսեցեք, Rametsek.
Այո։ Պետրոս ջան,
Ayo, Rametsek.
Պետրոս ջան, ես հատուկ շնորհակալություն եմ ուզում քեզ հայտնել այսօրվա այս հաղորդումիդ համար։ Ես ցավով եմ տեսնում, թե ինչպես Կալիֆոռնիայի, Լոս Անջելեսի մեծամասնությունը դեմ են Թրամփին։ Շատ սխալ է դա։ Գոնե հայերը միավորվեն նրա A.A.C.O Թրամփի։ Դու շատ ճիշտ ես ասում։ Նրա նման համարձակ, նրա նման խելացի մարդ, որ ընտրվել է մեկ էլ ինքն է, շատ լավ պիտի լինի, ես հույսով եմ։
Այո, շնորհակալություն։ Շատ լավ բիդլա հավատացեք եւ իսկական պատասխան այդ է, որ իսկական լավ բիդլա, մի վախնանք եւ մի հավատակ այդ լուրերուն, որ շնորհակալություն։ Մի վախնակ այդ լուրերուն, որ պիտի դունեն կանցես դիպորտնեն սխալ լուրերը, Օբաման ավելի մարդ այստեղ են վրընդեց, քան թե any other president եւ ովևէ մեկ իրեն racist չսավ, ովևէ մեկ իրեն narcissist չսավ։ Եկեք այս իրականություններուն նայենք։ Եվ դեմոկրատները այսօր շատ վատ կսկան, որովհետև այս աթորը գործունեություն եւ գուզեն որ բայկարիլ ամենքնով, բայց մի խապնվի։ Ես կգնամ մեր ժողովրդին, մեր եղբայրներուն քուրերուն ասեմ մի խապնվի գայ լուրերով, սուտ լուրերն անցնենք մյուս հերացանին։ Այո, Ռամեցեք։ Բարև ձեզ։
Ես պարոն Թրամփին շատ հարգում եմ, որտեղ ինքը Ամերիկա ու God bless our families եւ Blessed պետքա լինի մեր երկիրը, որովհետև ինքը տալու է գաղափարը խելացի երեխաներին, լավ դպրոցներ, մակարդակով, մաքուր, սեֆթիվ, առանց գենգերի, առանց չգիտեմ ինչի, եւ այդ welfare-ը բացի բթանալուց եւ մի կտոր չոր հաց ու պաներից ոչինչ ավելի լավ չի, աշխատեն, մեծ փողեր առնեն, վայելեն եւ իսկական Ամերիկայի արժեքը իմանան եւ օրհնվեն, ոչ թե աչքները գցեն ուրիշների վրա, կամ մեծ չգիտեմ ինչ կեղտոտություններ ներքին կարգով անեն, ավելի լավ չէ որ իրանք եւ իրանց բժշկությունը բոլորի համար մատչելի լինի, ոչ թե հոսպիտալները գնաս Օբամաքերով ոչ մի բանի չհասնես։
Շնորհակալություն։ Շնորհակալություն։ Այո, հրամեցեք։ Հրամեցեք։ Okay, երացայներ կան այսօր գներեք քիչ մտժվար երացայները որ այս main phone-ը չաշխատիր, so cell phone-ով կպատասխանեմ գոր, բայց գուզեի ծեր գարձիկ առնել եւ եթե անձնավորություններ կան, որոնք կգարձեն որ racist է, բիդի իրենց վրընդե այդ վախը ծեր մեջ են հանեցեք, այս մարդը նստեցավ որ Ամերիկայի ժողովրդին օգտակար դառնա, մի հավատակ մնացած այդ սուտ լուրերուն իրապես մի հավատակ Mandatory vaccination-ները, որ այսօր պիտի force կնեն դպրոցներուն, ինքը ադոր թեմ է, շատ լավ լուր է ադիգա, արնենք մեկ եվս հերացային, այո հրամեցեք, խոսեցեք, կլսենք կոր, խոսեցեք, այո լսում ենք հիմա, հրամեցեք,
Բարև ձեզ, պարոն Պետրոս, լսում եք,
այո լսում ենք, հրամեցեք,
ես ուզում եմ Այո, շատ շնորհակալ եմ ձեր հաղորդման համար։
Մերսի։
Շատ կարևոր է մեր հայերի համար, որպես կարողանան հասկանալ, պատկերացնել Թրամփի քաղաքականությունը։ Եվ մի խնդրանք, եթե
Այո։ Ձեր սելֆոնը կգդրվի գոր։ Hello։
Հայերի կողմից, որ իրոք մենք
բաները։ Հնարավոր է կազմակերպել ինչ-որ մի հայկական մարշ, հայկական ցույց, իօքու Թրամփին։
Հնարավոր է գրնանք հերացանել խոսիլադոր մասին։ Շնորհակալություն, երբ որ շոն վերջանա, գրնանք հերացանել ժամը 10:30 վերջ։ Այսօր գես ժամ ավելի բիդելանք խոս։ Շնորհակալություն։ Սիրելիներ, կարևոր է որ մենք այստեղ իմանանք, որ նախ երկիր ունի նոր նախագահ, նոր համակարգի գտարնագոր եւ շատ լուրեր պիտի լսեք։ Մանավանդ ես լսած եմ Հայաստանեն լուրեր, որոնք իբր թե Հայաստանի ինտելեկտուալներ են եւ գբայքարին որ գուզեն որ Քլինտոնը լա, գիտեք ինչի համար, գուզեն այս բոլոր միջազգային միասերական շարժումը մտնար Հայաստան, անոնք այդ մարտի գնային։ Եվ այս մարտը այդ միջազգային շարժման թեմ է։ Եվ ես համաձայն եմ ադորետ, որովհետև այդ միջազգային շարժումն է մեզ կանթողը։ Մենք պետք է արթնանանք ադորաման։ Այդ միջազգային շարժման թեմ, որ տարիներ խոսեր են թեմ է։ Ես անգլերենով մի քանի խոսքեր պիտի բացատրեմ, որովհետև մեր հյուրը ամերիկացի է։ You know, դեսեք ինչպես են։ Կարևոր է որ այս հասկանանք մենք։ Արեր են մարդոց criminal sarcasm, դեմոկրատներու ցերկով, մեծամասնությունը դեմոկրատներու ցերկով, criminalներ sarcasm, որը իրենց ցայնը գեցնեն։ So I'm going to go in English and you know how they criminalize society in order to stop the voting system from the so-called criminals, you know, and they create poverty, they create joblessness, and they promise them later, we will take care of you, but they created the same system by enforcing certain laws and enforcing this and that. And those have been the strategies of Democrats. Now it is time to follow the leadership of Trump, change the city of Los Angeles, take back our city. What do you say about that?
I say we will not fail. We will prosper. We will take it over again, and we will give it back to the people. That's been my campaign strategy all along. That's been my campaign message all along, is I'm not a politician. I've always been part of you. I've lived the same struggles. I've lived the same pains and the same agonies. My life has ups and downs like yours does at home. But the problem is, we tend to believe these media. We tend to believe our fake politicians who have nothing but they want to make money for themselves and their trust accounts. This is what I say, Bedros, to this, is our city, Los Angeles, will prosper again, will show its power again. Because I believe, like Mr. Trump has said, when we are united, we are unstoppable.
You know, there's a topic going on, Sanctuary City, boycotting Trump.
I don't like Sanctuary City.
Hold on, let me talk about this first, because they're being mispropagated again.
Absolutely.
That they will be deported because Trump is the president. And I want to say this specifically in English because there may be some Latino friends that are watching. Trump never said that. Don't believe the lies of the Democrats again, specifically from the mayor's office and all Democrats. They're lying because they want to keep the power and enforce enslavement on people. They haven't helped people. They haven't helped South Central Los Angeles.
Not one
They
bit.
haven't helped Latino areas. They haven't helped Boyle House. They haven't helped any of those areas. It's all ruined.
Correct.
So what happened to the promise? Are they for the people or not?
No, they are for their campaign donations and big developers in
And
their
these
pockets.
people that have leaders in their communities, they're leading the people in blindness, just like our leaders are leading us into fake Democrat promises.
Because they're
You
paid.
see?
Let's be
Right.
honest. Let's not have the political correctness anymore. They're being paid, okay? It's a very small system, but a very corrupt system. The mayor's office, the city council, the community organizers, I'm not saying all of them. But if you look at the history, look at LA Times, Bedros, okay? There's articles and articles from 3, 4, 5 months ago. Mayor Garcetti, 6 other council members in Los Angeles City are being investigated, supposed to be being investigated by a district attorney's office for taking campaign bribes for giving special developers access to buildings and changing the rules of planning. Now, the people got so used to working because they're tired, they're working, they're suppressed, they're choked. So what they do is the politicians do whatever they got to do while people are being choked and forced to just work and work and work. We have enslaved society as these politicians taken power. We have shown no hope, no signs of vision, especially in Boyle Heights. It breaks my heart that I walked through that city once, and it was very bad. South Central, they want to have big plans and develop this. All you hear Mayor Garcetti is talking about 2024 Olympics. Great. That's going to bring money to the city of LA, $11.2 billion. But how much money is going to Mayor Garcetti's pocket?
Which goes back to the speech of Trump.
Of course.
Our president, our precious president, our lion, who spoke about the government makes money, but it doesn't share with the people.
Exactly.
It will stop from today on. That's our president.
It is a
He
cycle.
gave a promise, and I'm sure he will support that promise because he believes in that.
And if I am chosen to be elected to serve you, the people of the city of Los Angeles, I will do everything in my power to work with this president's transition team to make our infrastructure, to make your homes better, stronger,
Right.
and more efficient.
You know, I want to emphasize one more time on the sanctuary city, the fake promise.
We forgot to talk about that subject. Go ahead.
I want to explain it actually because it's very important for people to understand in English and Armenian. You know, people are fearing that they will be deported. So there is a promise that we are going to create a sanctuary city where nobody can touch. Here is the problem. It's not about nobody can touch. Somebody can touch if they want to. And specifically, somebody can come and take people because it's the property of the United States belongs to, it's under the care of federal government. You cannot create sanctuary city. But let's put that aside. But let's assume there is sanctuary city. You know that's going to increase the crime rate in Los Angeles City. It's going to put risk on our children. Our daughters and sisters will be scared to walk on the streets because fear of being raped. Why? Because sanctuary city means any individual in New York City, any individual in Missouri who committed an offense of violence can come to the United States and can come to LA City and can hide in LA City because it is protected from federal regulations.
They cannot be deported.
Basically, this administration in Los Angeles City fighting against us, that's what it means.
Here.
They want to protect a criminal. I'm not talking about a poor drug addict who used drugs and needs help. I'm talking about a rapist, a murderer who raped our daughters, who raped our kids, can come in Los Angeles City, hide, and under this administration, be protected. So what is LAPD doing? Assisting a criminal. The whole system is corrupt, just like our president said yesterday, the whole government is corrupt. And he's right.
I agree.
Look at the picture. He's very much right. So
let me break it down.
I'm sure you have some things to say about it.
I have a lot of things to
Right.
say about sanctuary cities. I do not believe in sanctuary cities, not because I want people to get deported. Let's make something very clear because my opponents will try to twist this as much as possible. I am an immigrant like everybody else is. I had to come here and do things the righteous way. However, sanctuary city, what if I told you, Bedros, I have an uncle in a particular country. He was convicted of raping somebody, but do you mind if I let him stay at your house for a few days? What would you tell me?
No.
So why are we telling these politicians, yes, we want a sanctuary city? That's exactly what sanctuary city is. Anybody who's a murderer, who's a violent criminal, who's a repeat habitual offense
A violent crime.
of violent crimes, who can come into our jail system, be released back into our society, and be protected by the LAPD, the LA County Sheriff Department. The police departments make it very clear. I am not attacking the police officers. I'm attacking the leaders of the police officers, Chief Charlie Beck and also Sheriff McDonald, because they both came on TV and were for this sanctuary city and safe haven. I'm against it. I'll always be against it because my job, when I take oath, and when I did take oath to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic, is one thing, is to protect you.
Yes, you're online.
Yes, hi. I'm Bedros. I want to talk to English that I will get to understand.
Okay.
Thank you for your program.
Thank you.
I think we need more programs like this on Armenian channels because a lot of people are confused. I want to tell you one thing. I have a friend who is legally here. He has a work permit. He is a plumber, self-employed. He paid taxes. But you know, when we were talking before election, what he told me, you know, people tell that if Trump will be elected, I will be deported from this country.
Right.
So how he was confused.
Right.
So we need more programs for Armenians that they understand what's going on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will say this in Armenian for the Armenians that don't understand English. But President Trump-ը նոր Ամերիկայի ընդրված նախագահը, որ ես կսեբեմ որպես իսկապես հաղթող այրուց, որ այրուզներու կուպի մեջ նետվեցավ եւ հաղթեց, ամեն սուդախոսներու հաղթեց, որովհետեւ ճշմարտությամբ կայնեցավ, եւ ասեմ ցեզի, որևէ մեկին դիպորտնելու յետևեն չէ սուտ լուրերը նադիգա։ Այդպիսի հայտարարություններ չրավ։ Ինքը հայտարարության մեջ ըրավ այս հայտարարությունը, ինչպես որ լսեցինք inauguration-ի մեջ, շատ բարձրացավ Islamic extremism։ Այս վերջի 4 տարիները սիրելի ժողովուրդ տեսան Islamic extremism-ները ինչրին Սուրիայի, Իրաքին, հայկական շրջանները, քանի անգամ մարդոց մորթեցին եւ հետաքրքիր է որ մենք տեսանք ինչպես եզդիներուն, minority-ներուն աղջիկները արին, բռնապարեցին, slavery-ին եւ պարոն Օբաման, որ այսօր գոչի ոչ թե որ լավակույն նախագահը, ոչ մեկ բան չրավ այդ գեցնելու։ Ամեն աշխարհը գանգնեցավ եւ լրեց եւ պարոն Օբաման փոխանակ ընդունի քրիստոնյաները Միացյալ Նահանգներու մեջ, առավել փերավ այդ թերորիստները եւ Թրամփը ադոր թեմեր եւ թեմե ադոր։ Այդ քլխադոները, որոնք այսօր Միացյալ Նահանգներ մտերեն, ադոնց պիտի վրընդե, եւ ես համաձայն եմ, բոլորս պետք է համաձայնել անգադուր համար, բայց եւ որ թուն հայ ես, քրիստոնյա ես, ինչպես որ այս երկիրը քրիստոնյայության վրայում նված է, վախ չունենաս, որովհետեւ այդ անձնավորությունը, որ ընդրված է որպես նախագահ, քու պաշտպանը է այսօր, այդպիսի թերորիստներուն թեմ են, բայց դեմոկրատները գոչեցին, քնվրտին, twist-ին նախագահի խոսքը եւ ասին racist է, ամենամեծ racist-ը անոնք են դեմոկրատները, իրենք են սպարողը, իրենք են լուր դարածողը եւ իսկապես ժամանակ եկավ որևէ մեկ դեմոկրատի, ըլլա հայ, ըլլա ամերիկացի, ըլլա սև գարմիր ջերմակ չընտրենք այլևս որպես բոյկոտ, ժամանակ եկավ որ անոնց դուրս անենք այս օֆիսներեն։ Դեմոկրատները ինչ են սիրելիներ մեր Կալիֆոռնիան։ Mandatory vaccination մտցուցին, որ երեխան 60-70 սրսկումներ պետք է ունենա։ Mandatory, եթե ոչ չես կրնա դպրոց։ Այս դիկտատորշիպը մեկ խոսքով։ Այդ ծեր սիրելի դեմոկրատները։ Ժամանակ եկավ որ հայ ժողովուրդը իր աչքերը փանա եւ չարաշնորթվի որպես ոչխար, առաջնորդվի որպես այրուց հաղթահարող։ Ոչ թե քուլուխը գաղկալ է, որ մեր ղեկավարները մեզ սուտ կխապեն, ոչ, այլ առաջնորդին որպես բայկարող այրուզներ եւ ոչ առանց վախի, որովհետեւ ժամանակ եկավ ճշմարտությունը գիտնանք, չհավատանք այդ լուրերուն, իսկապես ժամանակ եկավ ադոր համար։ I'm sorry, I had to explain that part. You know, one of the organizers, I'm talking about in Washington that organized the march.
Yes.
One of the organizers, her name is Linda Sarsour, Cockroach, said this 2015, May 12, 2015, I say, if you are still paying interest, then Sharia law hasn't taken over America. They want to bring Sharia law in the United States, and they're using other tactics, saying that this person is racist, he's fighting against women's rights. No, these people promoting racism themselves. This is right here, May 12, 2015, on their Twitter. It's downloaded. Let's take one more phone call. Ay, hörամեցեք. Hörամեցեք. Hello? Okay, we have serious phone problems today, but let's go forward. I'm going to give the floor to you. We have, 6 minutes left? Let's go for it.
You know, I took an oath to this office, and I took an oath to this country to defend it from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Sharia law is not what we want in this country. People are escaping. That's why our families, our grandmothers, grandfathers, ancestors moved to this country for the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to bear arms, and all the rest of the constitution of this country. Sanctuary city is a very bad decision. We want safety. We want to reduce the crimes, not increase them. Our police officers are being targeted because of politics. Police officers' hands have been tied because of politics. We should keep politics out of law enforcement and let them do their job to defend and protect the citizens of this city. Poverty should not be in Los Angeles City. Under this mayor and other mayors in this long history of Los Angeles, we have seen complete chaos. We don't feel safe anymore. We don't know if we're going to be next to sleep on the streets because of all these high-rises going up in expensive buildings that only tourists and people from out of the country can afford. Our infrastructure has been compromised. And this is what I have to tell you before I let this back to Bedros here. Please, this coming election on March 7, 2017, I'm asking for you to write my name. It's very important because I want you to physically write my name on that ballot. Because I want to show you that I will work for you just as much as you worked for me to write my name down. God bless you and God bless America.
So we have about 5 minutes. I want to conclude this program by saying we have a new president, and right after one day his presidency, we saw marches, radicalists, you know, especially the march in New York, Washington, D.C. I don't know about Los Angeles. I can speak because I didn't research it. I will research it and let you know next week who were the powers behind it. I can say in open, globalists, leftists, communists. But in any ways, the fact of the matter is one of the leading organizers, one of the lead people of organizers of the march in Washington, D.C. was an Islamic faction. It was a specific Islamic faction that was in Washington, D.C. today that organized that and took a major protest against elected presidents, sitting president that is trying to fix and secure the United States. What does that tell us? That tells us they don't want this country to be great again. Once this country is great, if we, Armenians, we're smart, we work with them, we can have a greater power in Armenia. Especially right now, this president wants to work with Putin, make friendship. That means if we put our rights in, if we put our right mind in, we could basically fix a strong Armenia if we understand what we're doing strategically. You know, don't be fooled by those words of leftist, communists, Armenians, Democrats, when they tell you this president has business in Turkey. Anybody, a lot of people have businesses in Turkey. Obama doesn't have business in Turkey, but he didn't do nothing for us. He didn't do nothing. So I'm not scared if somebody has a business in Turkey. He was not a politician, and he's still not a politician. He's taking stand because he wants to protect this. I'm not saying he's God, but during his inauguration, he spoke from the Bible. He spoke, pastors were allowed to pray and use the name of Jesus Christ without fear. Versus when Obama was elected, unfortunately, we saw Muslim prayers. Unfortunate, And those same Muslims that are in support of Hamas, they're connected with the terrorist group Hamas that has a headquarters of Turkey. They organize these protests in Washington, D.C. I, as Armenian, will fight against it and will stand with the president. Why? Because Turkey and those Islamic fictions, Islamic factors, ISIS is my enemy. Because after Syria, if they're successful, they will attack Armenia. Let's not forget. Let's not forget that. After Syria, it's Armenia. That's the strategy they have. They want to create all Christian. They want to destroy all Christian countries, and that's what we're fighting. Because my time is over with, and I have a signal is finished. Until next time, God bless you all.